KBG, what it do, what it do?
Yes.
Back with another video, y'all.
Again with another one.
We got a request for some Nick Crowley, some more Nick Crowley. We got The Moments Before a Murder. Boy.
And they got it recorded?
Yeah, y'all already know what time it is, man. Snag up, kick back, relax, chill. You with the fam. Let's get into this video.
Let's get into it. Wait, let's push forward.
This Crowley was 4 years ago. Little intro.
Nick Crowley got one of the best, like,
Yeah.
that type, video.
It's like suspense, scary, all that. What's going on?
There are three perspectives to this. There's these men, covered with plastic masks, focused, waiting, stalking, as another sneaks around out front, surrounding the perimeter of a South Ogden home. There's those inside the house, a group of renters just enjoying their night, unaware of the fact that outside they were surrounded. And then there's you, watching, not only unaware, but helpless to the situation unfolding before you, as not only have you witnessed the stalking of a home, you've also witnessed the moments before a murder. In the moments following these clips, gunshots would ring out as the stalkers opened fire on a group of people inside the home.
Damn, boy.
The situation would wind up with 24-year-old Kyle Van Coleman and 61-year-old Kevin Nelson being shot to death, with another young man being struck, just barely surviving. And what's most disturbing about this situation is that a motive for this attack has never been found, and neither have the killers. Security footage would show one of the men running away from the scene, but his identity has never been found, and the same is true with the others.
Dang.
And with this case nearing 4 years with little to no leads, it's getting colder and colder each day. An unexpected, unmotivated, and unsolved killing. It's a terrifying thought, as it could happen to anyone.
Right.
The aftermath of this event was obviously disturbing, but the way they stalked this home before their crime is chilling, to say the least. And it somewhat reminds me of another infamous video clip that in many ways was even more twisted. It was June 25th, 2011. A camera points inside the home of Lauren Giddings, a 27-year-old law student who was only a short time away from completing her bars. In the video, we can't see Lauren, but the man behind the camera knew she was home. His name is Stephen McDaniels, a classmate of Lauren's and her next-door neighbor, and over the previous months, he had become romantically interested in Lauren. A feeling that was far from mutual, with Lauren turning down his offer for a date. And most people would just leave it at that. But for Stephen, the rejection made him fall deeper, to the point of obsession. He would follow her, track her movements, and since they were neighbors, he knew where she lived, and he knew when she was home. Which brings us to this clip, which without context is creepy enough. It shows Stephen pointing the camera in Lauren's home, seemingly trying to catch a glimpse of her. All the while, Lauren was completely unaware of the man outside her home. But with context, it's even darker, because not only did this clip show the moments of Stephen McDaniels stalking Lauren, it also shows us the moments before her murder. Immediately following the video, Stephen would continue his stalking inside the home. He would enter Lauren's house and creep over to the room that she was sleeping in. But as he approached, he ended up stepping on a creaky floorboard, causing Lauren to wake up. She yelled at him to leave her house, but in an instant, Stephen would lunge at her, wrapping his hands around her neck and choking her to death. The following day, he would return to her house to dispose of her body, chopping her up into pieces and throwing her in the trash. Every time I see this clip, I get chills because she never saw this coming. But some of the darkest moments of this case actually came after this footage. In the days following her death, authorities were viewing this case as a disappearance, given the fact that there was no body, and Stephen wasn't even considered a suspect, to the point where a news station casually interviewed him.
They interviewed him?
Assuming he was just the...
You remember the video we did? I can't remember who react to, and they had his case on there.
So many. I don't remember that one.
Yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
It's a lot, but I remember him.
Damn.
He was acting like he was looking for her, and he was so concerned and all kinds of stuff like that. I remember that. He was a weird guy. I remember him.
Where a news station casually interviewed him, assuming he was just the clueless neighbor.
He was acting all concerned
The last
too.
time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and no one's heard from her since.
In the meantime, Stephen believed that he would never be caught, as by this point, the garbage should have been taken away, along with Lauren's body. Stephen really thought he was in the clear, but there was one problem. That day, the garbage truck had ran late, and detectives had gotten to the scene just before the truck would take Lauren's body away. And as the detectives pulled up, they would check the garbage can and find Lauren's sawed-off torso. It said that if they had arrived just a few minutes later, the garbage truck would have been taken away, and Stephen would likely have gotten away with murder. But the interesting thing is, at the time Stephen was being interviewed by that local news station, he had no idea that Lauren's body had been found. And in this moment, he believed that the garbage truck had already been taken away, and that he would never be caught. And so, when the news reporter mentioned the fact that they had found a body, we see Stephen's live reaction and his realization that his dark secret was about to come out.
I think that's where they had recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Ali?
Body?
Where they had you seen anything there?
See how?
You like, damn.
Had you seen anything there? Are you okay, sir?
I think I must sit down.
Okay.
In the days following the interview, Stephen would be arrested and sentenced to life in prison. There's something about watching these moments, recorded on video.
How much they get
It's
caught?
so haunting.
Right.
But the moments before a murder aren't always released in the form of footage. In fact, many of these moments are shown in the form of pictures. And there's one that has haunted me since my childhood. And I'll never forget watching some TV program as a kid and seeing this picture. The photo shows 2-year-old James Bulger with 2 other boys walking through a shopping center in Bootle, England. In February of 1993, Bulger was visiting a shopping center with his mother, Denise. During their shopping trip, Denise had taken her eyes off of her son for just a second, only to realize that he had vanished. He was by her side one moment and gone the next. After the mall was searched, it was realized that James was truly missing, and authorities began searching for the boy, which led them to this photo. It was a still shot taken from the CCTV footage in the mall that shows Bulger leaving the shopping center with these 2 unidentified boys. The discovery was strange, but it gave Denise hope because the boys who were with James seemed like kids themselves, which made Denise relieved. They were probably just innocent kids trying to help a lost 2-year-old. And so, for a brief moment, there was hope. Hope that didn't last long.
Good evening, you're watching the news from ITN. Tonight's headlines: police hunting for the missing Merseyside toddler have found a body.
Bulger's deceased body would be quickly found just half a mile away from the mall, having sustained traumatic injuries. It would be just a short investigation, as authorities were quickly able to discover what exactly had happened, thanks to eyewitness testimony and the CCTV footage. On the day of Bulger's disappearance, 2 boys named Robert Thompson and John Venables had skipped school and visited the shopping center. There, they were seen on security footage, seemingly looking for someone, with one of the boys later admitting that they were looking for a child to abduct. And that's when they saw James. They grabbed him, as seen in the photo, and took him down to a nearby canal. There they dropped the young boy on his head and dragged him around the area, causing multiple facial wounds. The kidnappers would then walk James into nearby Liverpool and take him into a variety of shops, all the while James was still crying and bleeding. It's said that throughout the entire kidnapping, at least 38 people had witnessed the injured boy, but no one reported them. All the red flags in the world were there, and people just didn't say a word.
Come on, man.
What's wrong with people?
Come on. Humanity is...
That's something like that happened now. They just probably pull out their phone and start recording instead of calling the damn cops and stuff like that. Now people just in the.
Well, shoot, they've been doing well. Yeah, that's crazy.
You mean to tell me they saw the injured little boy? Ain't nobody just
like you say,
got nothing to do with me and shit.
That's how people is, man. That's sad.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
you can
real
call
sad.
Anonymous. You can be like, let me go and start calling
Something.
the rest something.
But people don't care no more, man.
The red flags in the world were there, and people just didn't say a word. And if just one person had called the police, then maybe this story wouldn't have ended the way it did.
Get that little boy that for
After
nothing.
their trip into town, John and Robert would take James into the village of Walton and onto a nearby railroad, as shown from this grainy photo taken from a security camera. This would be the last moment that James would be seen alive, as he would be tortured once the 3 reached the railroad. The amount of torture and injuries that James sustained were unimaginable and unsurvivable, especially for a 2-year-old. After James had passed, Robert and John then buried
My thing is too, did they say anything about where the parents was?
Who parents?
How they just grabbed the 2-year-old and the little boy. Did they say anything about where the parents was at when he was in the mall? Where the little boy parents been at?
I think she did. I think she took her out.
I probably missed, but you can't take. I know people can say, yeah, that happens. You take it off. You can't say that happened, but you gotta be, you gotta be locked in on your child. Just the same way, like out in public now, like your kids and stuff outside playing.
Yeah.
It's 9 times out of 10, there's no parents out there. Right. No parents around. People just think things don't happen. They just happen on TV or the things that we watching now. It can't happen to you or your child.
Really be locked in because you got these people sick.
And they waiting on you to slip up a second or so like that can take your whatever. Like, come on, y'all. We gotta wake up, y'all.
2-year-old. After James had passed, Robert and John then buried his head under rubble and left his body on the train track.
It's crazy, man.
They did this in the hope that the train would hit James, making this all look like an accident. The train would come by soon after that and strike his corpse, cutting it in half. It's devastating, and when you see this moment, you have to wonder how different things could have been if someone had just stepped in. But in a case as jarring as this one, there's one more shocking note that I didn't add. As I mentioned previously, Robert and John were just boys when they killed James, and I'm not talking 16 or 17 years old. These kids were 10 years old. The torture, the kidnapping, all of this evil came from the hands of 2 10-year-old boys. There are simply no words for it. Despite being children, the 2 were tried as adults and recommended by their judge to serve 15 years minimum. However, they would be released just 8 years later due to a change in the legislature. Cases like this are incredibly frustrating, as people were just too willing to sit back and do nothing to help this child.
Well, people who be doing that, changing things up like that, stuff need to happen to their people. Something need to happen to them. Or they people, you changing now, you let them out. They did all that torture to this little child, this little 2-year-old.
Innocent little
It don't
boy.
matter no 10-year-old or none of that. They know what they were doing. This little thugs doing stupid little stuff. That's nothing kids would do. You torture that little boy, did all that, had 15 years, didn't do that. Then y'all got out.
Out, probably just living their life.
Probably living their life doing
Probably got a
most
family
stupid
and
stuff.
Like, no.
Just too willing to sit back and do nothing to help this child. But there's another case that I've come across that might be even more infuriating.
Bless his soul, man.
Okay, ma'am, how can I help you?
I woke up this morning and my daughter was not in the house. I don't know if she walked out. I don't know what's going on, but she's not here.
How old is your daughter?
She's 5.
The following was just a clip of Antoinette Davis's 911 call on November 10th of 2009. The pain in her voice is clear, and it's understandable why she was feeling this way, because her 5-year-old daughter, Shaniah, had just gone missing from her home. The night before, she was sleeping peacefully in her bed, and the next morning, she was nowhere to be seen. It's a mother's worst nightmare, and authorities would quickly rule that foul play was likely. Their theory was that someone had snuck into the Davises' home and stole Shaniah during the night without being noticed. As the search for Shaniah began, police would soon acquire security footage that showed the young girl being carried by a man in a nearby hotel. The footage shows the two near the elevator, about to head up to the man's room. With a screenshot of this recording being released to the public in an attempt to help find the man in the photo. A lot can be insinuated from just this one frame, but as we'll soon find out, things were even worse than what they seemed. On the 13th of November, a man named Mario McNeil would come forward as the man seen in the viral photograph. He would turn himself over to authorities, but at first refused to speak any more on the situation. However, the following day, he would reveal a disturbing fact about Shaniah's disappearance. He told authorities that Antoinette had fallen into debt with Mario, as she had owed him a substantial amount of drug money.
Wow.
However, Antoinette didn't have the money at the time, and needed to find a way to pay Mario back. And it was then that Mario suggested she used a different kind of payment, sex. And so that's exactly what Antoinette resorted to. Only she didn't sell herself.
I woke up this morning and my daughter was
Boy,
not in the
lady,
house.
you something
I don't know
else.
if she walked out.
Instead, she used her 5-year-old daughter as payment, giving her to Mario, so that he could use as a slave.
But she probably be called a good mother,
It's
though.
the most vile thing a mother could ever do, and it's not even the worst part. The quote-unquote substantial amount of money that Mario was owed was just $200. Antoinette sold her own daughter for $200.
$200.
Shaniah would later be found in a ditch alongside of the road, having been suffocated to death by Mario. And piecing things together, it appears that after this clip was taken, Mario had taken the girl up to his room and strangled her there. Today, Antoinette is still in prison, with Mario being sentenced to death.
I mean, you think about taking payment of a child that you about to unalive just because she did. Apparently, she don't care about the child. She gave him to you. So you ain't hurting her. And then she called a lie. You not, I mean, boy, he need to get.
He sentenced to death, so.
Yeah. But he need other stuff to happen to him.
Still in prison, with Mario
Yeah, she need to stay in there too.
sentenced
Her too.
to death. These moments before murders are all disturbing in their own way, and they all have something in common. They were captured on CCTV footage, but there have been other moments captured by the victims themselves, as they show a first-hand perspective of what was soon to come. And in many ways, that can be even more horrifying. Most notably, 24-year-old Sydney Loofe had posted a selfie to her Snapchat, expressing her excitement for her upcoming date. She had no clue that this would turn out to be the moment before her murder. That night, Sydney was set to meet up with a woman she had met on Tinder named Bailey Boswell. The two had been on a date the day previous, with things going well enough to warrant a second date. However, things would take a strange turn when, after being lured into Bailey's apartment, Sydney was introduced to Aubrey Trail, a 51-year-old man who happened to be Bailey's boyfriend. Cindy had no idea that this was never planned to be a date. It was a setup for her murder. At the home, Aubrey would strangle Sydney with an extension cord, choking her to death. From there, the two would saw her body into 14 pieces and discard them throughout the area.
What's the point?
It was certainly twisted, but this murder was anything but random, as it was later confirmed that the couple had planned to murder her that evening, with them being caught on security footage purchasing the saw they used to cut up her body the day before the killing.
I mean, stuff, but like it's like, you know, like somebody who working like the cash register at like the store or something like that, Walmart or anywhere you can like purchase the items, and people just, if somebody just come and start putting the saw, bleach, gloves and stuff like that, you don't think like, damn, like, what you about to do?
Something about to go on, rope and all that crazy stuff, man.
Like that. Like, what you got going on?
But these are people right here that we walk by every day, like we always say, work with at jobs, people at your churches, laugh with, all that, internet friends.
You just family members.
Come on, yeah. Come on now.
Purchasing the saw they used to cut up her body the day before the killing. This was all planned out. But why kill Sydney? Well, the answer would be difficult to find at first, as there was no sign of either Bailey or Aubrey. The two had left town as soon as authorities started looking for them. But despite them running from the police, they weren't completely out of sight, as the two would frequently post videos online updating the public on their case and cussing out those trying to track them down.
The Lincoln Police Department apparently wants everyone to believe that we're hiding, that we haven't talked to them, that we're avoiding them. I wish the family the best. I mean, no disrespect to anyone. I wish Sydney the best. But as far as the police department, you.
It's truly bizarre. And despite the two being on the run, they would eventually be caught and questioned, which is when the true horrors of this case would be revealed. And despite the two being on the run, they would eventually be caught and questioned, which is when the true horrors of this case would be revealed, as the 51-year-old Aubrey Trail would admit to running a cult. He referred to himself as the vampire, and he enlisted the help of young women to help him steal different antiques, perform sexual rituals, and carry out heinous murders. He told the women that doing these tasks would give them powers, and that the more brutal the murder, the more power they would gain. It's extremely disturbing, and it's especially shocking knowing that he actually did have a following, with at least 12 women being linked to the cult.
12 dummies.
However, despite this information, and Aubrey apparently bragging at one point that he had killed several people, there is to this day no actual proof that he was responsible for any other murders besides Sydney's. It's something straight out of a movie, with the case featuring many twists and turns, with perhaps the most dramatic coming back in the summer of 2019 during Aubrey's trial.
Please be seated.
Bailey is innocent, I curse you all.
Stop recording.
Inside the courtroom, he would slash his neck open in an attempt to take his own life. He would, however, survive the ordeal and would later be convicted of first-degree murder, with Boswell still awaiting her trial. With everything that happened in this case, it's crazy to think back to where it all started. Sydney was just a young woman excited for her date, who had no idea that this day would be her last. And for her, she likely saw no red flags that night. Before our final case, the warning signs couldn't have been more obvious. It happened in Warren, Michigan, where 20-year-old India Mackey would enter the car of her 18-year-old boyfriend, Kevin Dixon. And it's unclear what exactly had sparked it, but as the two sat in the vehicle, an argument began, and the two started shouting back and forth. As the argument progressed, Dixon would pull out his handgun and start loading it. However, it appears at the time that Mackey didn't believe he would actually shoot her, and so she pulled out her phone and calmly began recording him. The video shows the two speaking back and forth as Dixon wipes his fingerprints off of the bullets he was loading. As the video continues, Dixon talks about how he's going to shoot her.
He's a sorry ass. Sorry.
Simp. Weak dude.
Mackey appears unbothered. And watching this all, it's so shocking how casual the video is. It's very clear that Mackey didn't think her life was in danger. She just sat there, casually responding to him and holding the camera still. Her hands weren't even shaking. Mackey didn't believe that Dixon would go through with this. But he did. Immediately after this video stopped, Kevin Dixon would shoot India Mackey point blank with the very gun he was cleaning in front of her. She was killed instantly. After the shooting, Dixon would drive erratically away, with Mackey still in the passenger seat, before eventually being pulled over and arrested for her murder. Kevin Dixon remains in prison to this day.
Oh, somebody gonna do something to you in there.
Sorry behind
You
that.
sorry, dog. You couldn't just leave or nothing.
Or tell her to get out the car or something like that. You rather
you about to feel this.
I want to give a special shout out to my gold.
Shout out to Nick Crowley.
Shout out to Nick Crowley.
That's
these are some
crazy, man.
Crazy videos, especially the first one. And they got away.
Yeah, like I wonder what was that one about. Like, did they owe them something?
Did they know them?
Did they know them?
Or that was just something random. Like they just, let's all plan to do something crazy to these people.
I see like when you go out in public, you gotta be not expecting it, but just be prepared for some crazy stuff.
They was in the house.
They was in the house.
So how would they would know? Like
exactly. Like
how would
you think you safe and chilling? You know what I'm saying? In the house that they were having a good time.
Join each other having fun or whatever they was doing inside the house, and it's some freaking idiots outside
that got away with it. 3 of them still roaming the earth today.
And it could be your friend, your family, your co-worker. You just never know. It could be the same people in the dang video you talking to right now. You just never know because they're not gonna say nothing. One of them might slip up and
That's just crazy.
And the 2 10-year-old boys, they roaming the streets
y'all
now.
Just want to do something. You know what I'm saying? Roaming the streets.
Roaming now.
Like you said, probably got a family, everything.
And you just never know.
Y'all done did that to that little boy for no reason. You just wanted to do something stupid. Drag him, did all that, bust his head.
Couldn't have been my child because you can't.
Been my child.
You're not coming back in here.
You would have been my child. You would have been
not
going
coming
somewhere
back
else.
In here.
Custody, whatever can take custody of you, I ain't got nothing to do with you.
Don't come back in here.
KBG, man, get down in that comment section. Y'all know we gonna meet y'all at. We love y'all. Appreciate the support, the likes, everything y'all do, man. We love y'all to the fullest. We love y'all to life. We catch y'all next video.
Catch y'all next one.